Good morning, Shane.
Good morning, sunshine.
For the second time, we had to
For the
do it. We
second
had to
one.
do over.
Due to some corporate PTSD on my
Right.
part. Yes, it was. Man, I thought we had a meeting popped up on my calendar. I was like, got to go. No, turn West Coast time.
It was like a road runner. I
Yeah.
saw dust. And then I got downstairs and was like, wait a minute. No, we
I
don't. It's 12:30.
can't be late to meetings, man. No,
No,
that
not at
is.
all. We
We
take
don't
our
get the same leeway.
right. We take no, absolutely not. We do not. So, all right. So
It's
who are
funny
we?
to me. Man, who are we? Are two seasoned corporate veterans who are here to pass along the wisdom we received from the lessons learned, mistakes made, in hopes that you can learn or just laugh while you're going through it.
Yep. All right. Good deal. Um. So today we're going to talk about hot topics, and we were
Facts.
saying earlier that the word of the week or the season should be tired because everybody we're talking to, old and young, like I'm a lot older than Shane.
Not a
I'm
lot older. She
tired.
lying,
Well,
yo.
I am a lot older.
She's
I'm
lying. We're
tired.
literally almost the same age.
We're literally not. I'm tired. All my colleagues are tired. My friends are saying they're tired. And yeah, so we did, it's like the pandemic 2.0.
Facts.
Our kids are sick, and I think that and we're sick of our not you, Shane, because your kids are perfect. I'm
Those fuckers are not.
I'm sick of my kids. Okay. Um, and they're all,
That's funny.
and they're always sick. Ariel
Man, yeah.
dropped my iPad on her foot the other day, and you know what I said?
What's
How's my
that?
iPad?
There you go. Hey. How's the iPad doing?
How's my iPad?
You
Did you break it? And she's like, no, but I think I broke two of my toes.
you all
So what
right.
do I do like a good mother? I let her stay home the next day because she couldn't get up because Lord knows that because your toes hurt, you have to sleep. It makes you sleepy. Did you know that there was a correlation between toes and sleep? So,
That's a hell of a drop to break your toes with an iPad. I mean,
oh yeah, I
goddamn.
heard it. And
Do
it's
you ever
it's an iPod. That's what I record. It's an iPad Pro, so it is big and it's in a
do you have a
case.
case on it?
Uh huh.
Damn.
I'm sure
She
it
just
hurt,
like
and her toes were bluish,
mm,
and so she stayed home the next day, and then so now she can't go anywhere this weekend because her dad is like Kaiser, so they're like Kaiser Sose, like he just waited for me to say something to her to correct her. He said you can't go anywhere this weekend, so
and she's supposed to
she
be on
was
punishment anyway, right?
she was crying because she's tricky dick. Yeah, she's tricky dick.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
always
These children be cutting up, man.
yeah, she's always it's little dumb stuff. It's you know what I mean. It's just
You,
little dumb
it's
stuff.
like they think they can get away with it. I'm like, dog, we did the
Well,
little dumb
she
stuff
thinks she's
too,
an
yo.
adult. She thinks that we're peers. That's what her problem is. That she doesn't. She asks for forgiveness instead of permission. Like, oh, I told you or I texted you. No, we're not roommates. You are a child. You
Yeah,
have to ask me, and then I have to say yes. You can't just do it like go early because like go after school with your friend
yeah,
because I
yeah, yeah.
said you could go to their party later. Like, dude,
That's a fine line, right? Because I think that mentality is definitely was once reserved for the like non-melanated folks whose kids kind of acted
Yeah,
entitled and like
yeah,
they asked for forgiveness and not permission. And that's going to
yeah.
do her well. That's going to do our generation, these generation kids well in corporate when they get adults. And they can like, that's how they get along in corporate America, right? Because
Yep.
we tend to ask for permission to do things while they just
Right.
do it, and that shows initiative, and then they get accolades and all this stuff. While
Right.
we tend to ask for permission, hey, can you get me clearance so I can go do this, whatever the case. And so we want our kids to be like that, just when
Right.
they get grown, not when a
Not
teenager.
when you're
So,
15.
yeah.
So anyway, and Jackson had a cough yesterday. He has had every
Mm.
virus, every stomach bug. I mean, I'm just gonna put CVS. I'm gonna be CVS for Halloween. I'm just gonna put a big red CVS sign out front.
Now, did
Um,
your doctor tell you to expect that this season?
yes, that it
Yeah.
is. It's a hella crazy for colds, flus, everything. The worst I mean, other than COVID, just the worst
Right.
that they've seen. Emergency rooms are full. My neighbor across the street, they've had COVID run through the house.
Whew.
Then this past week has been the flu. One of Errol's friends had COVID and the flu the same week.
Now, COVID is the flu, though, right? So, how do you differentiate between the
Well,
two?
because you can take a flu test. There's a flu test. No, COVID's not the flu because you can have COVID and not test positive for the flu and vice versa. Like
I thought COVID
Ariel,
was a strain of the flu. Or
no,
just
it's
like
just
the
a
flu
virus.
stuff.
No,
Mm.
Ariel, I think back in January 2020. I think Ariel had COVID back then, but they didn't have obviously a test for it. And they
Right.
gave her flu. They didn't have any flu test, so they assumed it was the flu. So they
Okay.
gave her Zofluza, which is Genentech's product. I'm almost positive. And everybody else that I knew that took Zofluza, it worked like a charm. She saw there was no change. She was sick for a week.
Cool was like, what? What is this?
Headache, stomach ache, chills, respiratory problems. She was delirious. All came on like just like nothing.
Sounds like COVID.
Yeah, it was COVID. I'm sure it was COVID. So she's had it probably 2.5 times. And in the beginning, she was the most vigilant during like extreme COVID.
Yeah.
Ariel wore masks in the house during there.
She was like, I don't trust none of y'all niggas.
Right. But then once we start, since this school year, I think they got a little, they've been very lax. And I said to her, you think you might want to wear a mask? No, I'll be the only one. I'm like, who cares? I'm like, do you like being sick? Do you like how this feels? So wear maybe between classes. So, but anyway, so I get this child a boot for her toe, and then I make an appointment with Resurgence. Shout out to Dr. Cook at Resurgence. And she told me this morning she's not going to wear the boot because people are going to ask her questions. I was like, are you high? Who cares? If it makes you feel better, it makes more sense to wear a boot to protect your foot than flip-flop, than slides with a sock.
When it's cold outside.
When it's cold outside.
When it's cold outside on top of that.
Yeah, anyway. They're
teenagers, they care.
Meatheads,
they care about what everybody thinks. Yeah,
I know. I told her. And these kids. So Jackson's still in the boot from his, dust up, with the lift our car, and Ariel got a ride home the other day, and she saw him and took a picture of it and walking and sent it to me.
Damn, she hired in the damn investigators for the insurance company.
I was like, I said, Ariel, he was walking to the upper parking lot. He's probably getting a ride. I was like, no, he's on the sidewalk. He's clearly walking home.
Yes.
And then she got mad because she sees him in the hallway and speaks, and he doesn't speak back. He said she's disrespectful. He's like, she's disrespectful. I don't talk to her. I don't mess with her. He has her blocked. He's like,
yo, kids are wild, man.
He's like, she's problematic. So and then because she couldn't go anywhere this weekend, he says, "Hey, Eric, what are you doing this weekend?" Oh, I forgot you can't go anywhere. I'm like, they're hateful. They are hateful.
That's funny.
They are hateful. But anyway, who are we? Did we say who we were?
We did.
We said who we were. I'm like so confused. Now I'm like, I want us to do it a third time.
Did you wake and bake this morning?
Man, the last time I'd used some CBD oil, I took some was last Thursday before my flight because I was like, okay, flying it can be stressful, whatever.
Yeah.
So how it affects me is that when I'm hyped, like anxious, it does nothing. But as soon as I calm down, I'm high as a kite.
That should flood your system.
Yeah, and I'm not using as much anymore. So we're standing in line at the rental car place, and this crazy thoughts are going. I'm like, where am I? What is the meaning of life? What is a car? Like I can't feel my face. I was like, God darn it!
Oh yeah.
And I did not use a lot. I'm just like, I don't like that. And I was thirsty, but I keep my water with me. So everywhere I go, went to a wedding, had my water. If wedding was outside, I was like, I cannot wear that turtleneck that I was planning on wearing because I will be a puddle. They're like, where did Trish go? Like, oh, she's that puddle over there. Like, have a hot flash and implode. So anyway, sticking with our feeling conversation and being tired, excuse me, Mars has announced that the orange M&M is a Gen Z icon because of its extreme anxiety.
Extreme anxiety.
Now M&Ms are tasty, okay? Mm-hmm. And the orange M&M is not, he ain't worried about life or making rent. He's worried about being eaten.
Yeah, it's life or death for him.
Right. He's like, because he knows straight up.
He was like, yo, I'm about to go at some point in time.
He knows he's tasty, okay? He knows that he's tasty, and he's worried. So, it's so funny. It's like, step aside Timothy Chalamet. I was like, was he the poster boy for anxiety?
I don't even know who that is. Who's Timothy Chalamet?
Did you see? I know you didn't see it. Call Me by Your Name. Did you see? I know.
Just like, look, I'm about to say some really non-melanated movie names. Probably
I
haven't
saw
watched
it was with Army Hammer, who I adore, even though he wants to eat people for some reason, or allegedly. Um, okay, Dune. Did you see the remake of Dune with Zendaya? No.
No,
Did you heard about the
I
remake of
heard
Dune?
about the.
He's in that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Um, he was in another movie too. I know you didn't see it. Lady Bird with Saoirse Ronan,
Mm-mm.
the Irish actress.
Nope.
Okay, I
Don't
think
worry
she
about it.
won. I think she won an Academy Award for that one. So anyway, so yeah, I don't know if that's really the same, and I'm trying to figure out why these kids are. I guess they're anxious. I think if they got rid of social media, they wouldn't be as anxious. If you didn't know what people were thinking 24/7,
Facts.
I
I
think
tell my
that
son
would
that all the time. Tell my old son that all the time. Like, listen, like your generation really thinks what people think matter, and it's only
right.
because of social media. Because it does not matter what somebody writes under your video who lives 10,000
It
miles
does
away.
not.
It doesn't.
It
But you guys
whatever
take that
happened to
shit like,
sticks and stones?
bro.
That
Not this generation. Sticks and stones don't do shit, but words cause them to have emotional
right.
breakdowns.
I
And have
mean,
people
words
like,
from people like they're
you will
not
probably never
hurting
see these
you.
people ever again.
Right.
But you were sitting there really drawn into their comment. Like, what does it matter, bro? Like,
Yeah,
what does
what
it
does it matter? Like when in my day, bullying was somebody was like, give me your lunch money, or every day give me your lunch money, or I'm gonna beat your ass or whatever. You know what I mean? Nowadays, they can harass you online, but you can turn if nobody says anything to your face and you
Nope.
have your own friends. Now that's a thing though. It's like if you're isolated, I could see that where that would be
But even so, you
obviously
can
an
turn off
issue.
comments. You can
You
turn
could
off
turn
comments on your
comments
video.
off, but I'm saying if at school you're getting iced out, like that's
Yeah.
that's bullying.
Yep.
Like if people are doing things to you physically or mentally in person.
Facts. What they
Online,
call this online bullying
you
is
can
like what?
choose not to.
You so soft that
And I'm not
words.
downplaying it because there was a girl in Errol School a couple years ago who committed suicide. There was some
No, it's
girls were
real. That's
they
what's
were
crazy. It's
bullying her.
real to them. It is
Yeah,
literally. It is a
yeah,
thing for them. Like this is
right.
dead ass like life or death for them.
Yeah,
And it is like wow. Like this is what's causing you to
I
trip
mean,
out.
Errol did not wear her boot. The boot that I got overnight, tried to get same day, but couldn't because she said people were going to ask her questions about her foot. And I was like, who cares? And I said, you're worried about what other people. I'm not worried. I said, that's the same thing. You're saying the same thing. That because of other people's comments or
Yeah, because
questions,
they're gonna ask
that you're not
questions.
going to do something that protects yourself. I'm like, that's stupid.
And it's not just you know what that reminds me of. Totally different topic though. Watch the show Married at First Sight,
Oh.
and one of the couples this season, they just got married. They just come back from their honeymoon, and literally like the dude had to go on a work trip,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like a environmentalist, so he basically is like a beach work trip. So it's a bunch of beach
Okay.
people and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't wear his wedding ring when he went on his work trip for a few days because
Okay.
he didn't want
He
people
he
asking
didn't
him
want to lose it.
questions.
Oh, he
Yeah.
didn't want people asking him
He
questions.
didn't want anybody to know who his new change in life because he didn't want to answer their questions. I'm like, what? And so she was like, so you just acted like you were single? He was like, yeah, I was just my single Mitch self, and because I didn't want everybody in my business. Mm-mm. Folks, that's not how married life works. I looked at my wife. I'm like, so can I be single for a few days whenever I travel? Is that
My
something?
husband doesn't have a ring.
But I'm sure he doesn't hide you when he's
Oh
talking to
no.
people. Yeah, no, he didn't tell
Oh,
anybody.
one time I did. He's a shared office space. I remember one time I was in his office with him. It was during COVID, and I was just standing there until he was talking to one of the people in the shared office space. No, I had to introduce myself. Maybe he thought I met the person before. I was
Yeah.
like, "Hi, I'm Jason's wife."
That's
Yeah, but
funny.
generally he doesn't do that. Oh, well, first we have to consider the source. Married at First Sight. Any moron that would go on that show.
You don't,
I
you
mean,
don't think that's? I mean, people be desperate for love, man. Folks can't
oh.
find love like you've been booed up. 20-something years now.
Well, I didn't find love. Dana, my buddy Dana,
Mhm.
found love for me. Dana's from Pittsburgh. He's a friend of mine. But you know what? I didn't meet Dana until he was in Atlanta. I was
Mhm.
working for a recruiting firm, and he was a VP to company. I think he was at MCI WorldCon. That's
Okay.
because
Oh, shout out to MCI. That's what's
yeah,
up. I remember that.
Jason worked for him.
Okay.
So he came. He was looking for a new job. Dana was, and I got him some interviews, and then he called me one day. I was still at work because I Yeah, always worked. I didn't like traffic, so I would stay late.
Ah,
And he called me. He's like, "Hey, we're over at it was a billiards place in Dunwoody. Meet me over here. There's some guys here, some good guys, not for to date, but you can hook them up. You can place them and make some money." I was like, "Okay, great." So I go over and Jason was one of the guys. And so I asked for his resume. Oh, we talked and whatever, and then I was like, "Hey, give me your resume." And he was like, "No, he never would give me his resume." And then he asked to take me out on a date, to take me to dinner. I was like, "Well, I got to eat," so I went. And then
that's funny. He was like, "No,
so
you're not
that,
getting right."
yeah,
Have he ever given you his resume?
no, no, he didn't. I didn't make any money off him. That's the
To
worst
this
part.
day, he still ain't
I
ring
could have
that
made.
resume.
I
He's
could have
like,
made.
"Nah,
I
you're
could
not
have made about 30 G's off him. Dana Smith Jr. Yeah, he gets all the credit. And last week I posted a picture of my cousin's wedding. He thought it was something from me. He used to call me the Black Chuck Woolery. making these love connections. And then he said, "Oh, that's not you." I'm like, "No, it's not. But you do get all the glory. You do. You are
That's
responsible.
shut
You are responsible,
for
good or
bringing it
bad,
together."
for all of this." Um,
But yeah,
so
folks be desperate for love though, right? So
yeah,
everybody don't have that story. High school sweethearts. Like I was, lucky enough to marry the woman I was with in
I
high
know
school
how
or whatever.
sweet.
I
I
mean, we did
know.
break up for a year though. We broke up.
Oh, okay.
We
We're not
broke
gonna
up when
talk
I
about
went off to
that.
college. She's 2 years younger than me. So
Oh, okay.
my
And then
senior when I graduated and was going off to school, she was like, "Yeah, no, you're gonna be a hoe when you go off to school. So I'm not gonna be with you no more." So
oh,
she broke
I
up.
want no parts of that.
Yeah, she was. I don't want no parts of that whole life. Yeah, and then 2 years later, came back.
She came
She was
back to
like,
her
"All right,
senses.
cool, bet." We've been together since.
Well, that is beautiful. Yeah, everybody. I mean, I can see people. wanting that and doing if they're doing it for the right reasons. Then great.
Yeah,
If they're
can you
doing
imagine
just if
being
they're doing
like
just to be on
38?
TV.
Yeah, no, there's women who are there like 38,
Oh
have
no,
this
there
whole
are women
career,
who are.
and
There are women older
never
than I have friends.
really.
I have. Let's see. I no. I Most of my friends have been married. I think I can only think of one who has never been married.
Okay.
Everybody else has been married. At least once. But yeah, I think at a certain age you probably don't think you're if it's 38 or 48 or whatever that you wouldn't have found love. So
Love,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I think sharing your life with someone that you like is
I think the
important.
craziest ones is when they're like 20-year-olds. There's like little people on like 24, 25
Oh,
saying,
they're
I'm,
just
I'm
that's just
tired of looking for love. I just want to be married. And what's crazy is like the women usually be dead ass serious. Like they're like, look, I'm done. And then the dudes be like, yeah, I'm serious too. And then like,
they're not.
they're
They're
not.
like, I'm serious too.
They're like, yeah, I'm kind of serious.
When I was younger, I remember being in college and walking past this house, and it was a house, like a white house. It was like brick, and it had like a door in the middle,
Yeah.
and two windows on the left, and two windows on the right, and 2-story. And I thought that's the kind of house I want to live in, and I want to fast forward to my life in that house with my husband and kids. So I did. I was probably one of those people. I always wanted to be married. I always wanted 3 kids. I mean, in theory, when you say you're 20 something, you want 3 kids. It's like, what does that mean? I just knew I wanted more than 2 because I had a sister, and I knew that I wanted there to be more than 2. So
I think about that this morning. I was like, I don't know. Like, if I could go back, would I have 4 kids again? Like, whew.
Well, no, you didn't. That 4th kid wasn't playing. You had
Yeah, the 4th kid wasn't even playing, bro.
So
like, it's like,
you
goddamn.
You did the work to not have.
Yeah,
that 4th
I
kid.
thought I was gonna be at 3, and then 4
Right.
came along, and then it's like, when they get older, is when it's cute when they're literally just got share toys.
Yes.
But when you have to share time as your parents, where like kids have activities,
Yeah.
somebody has an activity in South Carolina, somebody just got something in Greenville.
Because your kids are mad busy all at the same time.
Busy, and it's like, damn, like I don't know about this life. Like, god damn, like this is like traveling like all over, man. It's crazy.
I know you're 10, but could you get an Uber?
Yeah, I know. Can you run that, please? Can you? Like,
Where's
do I have
the
to
kitty
take
Ubers
you?
when you need them?
I thought somebody was coming up with that idea.
They
I thought
were
there was a woman who
several
had like
years ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
And never.
Uber for
I don't
kids.
know why that didn't happen. I think it was a black woman too, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it was a black woman. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Lyft needs to be my accountability corner again. How about they going to shut me down the other day? We need you to send us your license because we think that somebody underage was in a Lyft. Almost like, whatever.
You're like, what? Underage? What is underage?
What is underage?
What is underage?
Yeah, what is that? Like, get out of here.
Oh, that's funny.
So anyway, but this reminds me, like the bullying thing is. Did you watch that show? It could have just been a 2-hour show on Netflix. Nobody does them. Everything's got to be a mini series. It
Yeah.
can't. It would have to be 8 episodes. It could have been 1 2-hour episodes of The Watcher. Did you watch that?
No, I saw my
It's
wife
a
was watching that
it's a
last
made
night.
up story. I mean, basically the premise is that there's this beautiful house and this person writes letters to the homeowners about the house. And it was this house in New Jersey, and these people, it happened for years, like 20 years, that somebody was like, I see you, I know your wife, I see your wife and kids. And every so often they write these letters to
For
the
20
homeowner.
years they've been writing these
Not
letters?
they more than 20 years. They said, I am the watcher of the house. My father watched the house before me. His father watched the house, blah, blah, blah. So in 2014, a new family bought the house and they were getting the house fixed up, but they hadn't moved in. They got a letter. They're like, they sold the house. End of story. What does Ryan Murphy do? From Ryan Murphy, American Horror Story. He makes a 8-part show about all made up, about this person who is obsessed with a house. Yeah. So anyway, but even the realtor, the lady, remember the lady from Legally Blonde, the blonde lady, Jennifer, what's her name? She talks real funny. She was Pie in the American Pie. She was the MILF. She was like, what a punk. That's what she said to the Naomi Watts plays the wife. Like, they just wrote you some letters and you sold your house. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they bullied you and they didn't touch you.
I don't know, but if there was black folk, I think black folk we might have been on the same tip too, right? Like, because if people writing us letters, like, I've been watching your house for 20 years.
Oh no, for sure. But that's not what happened. It started after they moved in.
Oh, okay.
It started in this show. It started after. In real life, the people that publicized it they hadn't moved in.
Yeah.
So they just put the house on the market.
Yeah.
So, but so I'm not going to do any spoilers for the movie. But the movie's not. I mean, the story is made up. But I will just say this: when they pulled up to go view the house, their next door neighbors were sitting facing the house in lawn chairs, old school lawn chairs with binoculars. They say hello. They don't say anything. I'm like, I can't have nutty neighbors. So
when we were house hunting, we had that
house.
same thing happen. We literally went to this house. It was like this, like, really nice house. We pulled in, had like a little circular driveway. So we pulled in the circular driveway. And like, as we were getting out of the car, waiting for our realtors to come up, the neighbor who's sitting across the street comes over with walking their dog, like, hey, so you guys looking at the house? Where are you guys from? Oh, what do you do? Like, literally asking me 20 questions.
Oh,
my wife looked at me and she gave me a look. And after you've been married for a while,
she's like, stop answering this question.
She was like, we don't do Karens, and this feels like it's gonna be a Karen situation. Yeah, that,
like, no.
We walked through the house for about 30 seconds, and we're like,
nope.
Yeah,
nope, not gonna do it.
Because you just walking over, you don't even know me,
right?
You just walking over because I'm looking at the house,
right?
Imagine if I move in.
Oh,
how comfortable are you gonna feel coming over here?
Exactly. Yeah, because these in the show they had some really comfortable neighbors who were like in their house because they thought, because it was I guess they had the house had a dumbwaiter, and the Preservation Society, the house was historical, blah 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 blah, and it was what's her name? Whatever, Rosemary's Baby. What's her name?
Never saw
Oh my God, it's streaming right now. I demand that you watch it.
Okay, maybe
you've never. That is what's his name? The guy that what is his name? He got convicted of rape.
Mike Tyson?
No, shut up. And
Harvey Weinstein.
He's a director, and he left. He got Roman Polanski.
Oh, okay.
He directed it. So he got convicted of raping a 13-year-old, and he never came back to the U.S.
Sounds like Russell.
Oh no, Russell Simmons has not been convicted of anything. He's not
been back in the U.S. either.
No, he's been here maybe once or twice, but he just comes in and goes out. But Mia Farrow is in The Watcher. Yeah, she was in Rosemary's Baby. And was she married to Woody Allen, or were they just? I guess they were married, or they just live together. I don't know. Anyway, so she's in it, and yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, I didn't hate it, even though some reviewer was like, "Don't waste your time." But I saw that after I was already stuck on it, and I watched it in a day.
I was already in. Speaking of being
I was
stuck on
already.
show, Trish and I share a love for Donald Glover.
Did you
More
watch?
so his show.
Did you watch it?
Atlanta. Yes. Crank That Killer. Yo, listen, the way Donald Glover speaks to situations is hilarious. It is
Gosh.
I've never been more entertained and then, in deep thought all at the same time, right? Because it was the last episode last week was Crank That Killer. And
Oh my gosh.
it was, speaking about, with the first viral shit that hit us was Soulja Boy's, Crank That Killer.
Soulja Boy, run it
Yeah.
up.
And so there was somebody who was tired of that shit. And I guess that person thought if we go out back and we kill the source, maybe everything dies off. So he was going off to kill everyone who made a Soulja Boy video of, doing the Crank That thing or whatever. Right. And the shit was hilarious. It was hilarious because you know what? Everybody did it. Everybody.
Well, except for Ern.
Except for
Darius.
Ern and Darius, right. Except for
Like,
Ern
no,
and
we didn't do
Darius.
that. Oh, that like Darius would have never done that. But Paperboy, that actor speaks with his eyes.
He's so good.
He's
so
the
good.
faces that he makes, the eyes.
He is so
He
good.
is there's so much nuance in his acting. It is.
Listen,
What's
man, the scene where
Brian Tyree Henry. Oh my gosh.
when he was behind the car and they were still having the shootout, he was like, "Well, y'all just shoot that motherfucker." That shit was hilarious because I feel like Donald was trying to comment about how Georgia changed their gun.
The open, right? You don't need. You can just open carry. You don't need to
literally having
permit.
like a shootout in the mall.
Like,
And nobody was hitting nobody.
Nobody
And
was
the only
hitting
person
anybody.
that got killed was a bystander. Was the innocent man in his van making Darius and Ern kiss for some sneakers.
Kiss for some sneakers.
Kiss for some sneakers. He was like,
And
everybody got money.
And he put on Jodeci.
Oh, listen. He was like, everybody got money. I don't need money.
Life. Everybody's got money.
Yeah, like, I want to see y'all
and
kiss.
The fact that Darius wanted sneakers, like the guy who wears a t-shirt wrapped around his head, who is the least
He was like
like
I gotta have
money
these shoes.
hungry,
Yeah.
wanted those sneakers, and Ern was like, I'm not gonna lose my dignity.
Yeah, now Darius was like, what? See, I think that's like next level Darius thinking. Darius was like, what's a kiss? Like, it don't matter. I don't care about a kiss.
You're not gay. So
like, I don't know you're not gay. Shit, we can kiss. Let's go. They had limits though, because it was like 8 minutes. They were like, no.
Right, like 8 minutes. How about 3 seconds? And they said they were like, and I thought if somebody had something I want, would I kiss somebody for 3 seconds? And that was like, I wouldn't do it for out of the, just out of general, for general purposes. But
I mean, there's something I'm like, kiss a homie for 3 seconds.
I thought that that dude may have been recording it though. That's the only thing I thought, is that he may be recording it and put it on the internet. So that's where my head went. Like,
you know what's funny though is like when he said he had a line, he was like, because remember he said, "Oh, they're back." Oh, he got a line. He was like, "Yo, he been making dudes kiss for a minute now."
And they were teenagers.
They were ready to go.
They were teenagers. Like, we're getting these sneakers. We are getting these sneakers.
Yo, there goes Donald Glover talking about what we do, talking about what you were talking about earlier. Caring about what people think. Right? Yeah. You got to have these shoes, limited edition shoes. Like, what you gonna do for these shoes? Right, because you got to have them because these limited editions, right?
Right. Nike said they're going to try to put a stop to that. People buying the sneakers and selling them for exorbitant amounts.
They got to look at, like many things in life, you got to look internally first.
Yeah.
Because remember, a couple of years ago, it was found out that one of the VPs of Nike, her son was using her corporate credit card to buy all of these limited edition shoes, and then he was reselling them. Like, he was running his own resale. It was like he is literally making Nike buy his Nikes. How did she not know that?
She was buying Nikes for because
and it wasn't a couple of shoes. She had like a warehouse full of shoes. Like, he was buying.
She didn't know.
She didn't know. She said she didn't know.
Okay.
She said she didn't know. But whatever, like that. Like, Nike needs to look inside first.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of those things I just don't. I don't know. I mean, Jay's probably bought some of those limited editions, like those, like the sneakers that. What are they? What Fendi? Is it the
Mhm.
Fendi ones that are like they're Nike Fendi?
Oh, really?
And they're
I haven't
like
seen them yet.
I think it's Fendi. They have like flowers in or something in the swoosh.
Oh,
And they're like $16,000 or something.
whew,
I mean,
that's nice.
yeah, it's oh
Because
my gosh.
no, I mean the person probably paid for them probably won't pay like $800 for them, but the resale value on these shoes
Right, because
is
they don't make
crazy.
that many.
Exactly.
And then right, you make 800 basically because I think that's what it was with those. They made 800 of them. And then so
Mhm.
people are like, I gotta get
And
I
then
gotta
resale
get
values
that
go
shoe.
through the roof.
Yeah, that's
That's how I convinced my wife to let me buy Jordans the way I buy them. I'm like, look, if times ever get hard, I can resell these
I can
shoes
sell
and
my
we'll make
shoe.
more money than I did when I bought them.
Are they
You know?
insured though? Well, I guess
No, they're
just
not
like
insured. I mean,
like
we
you
have
need a
like
rider when you
homeowners
have like
insurance, but
$16,000 shoes though. Do you have a rider? I don't know. See, that's like
now
jewelry.
you
I mean,
got
it's
me
like
thinking. You're
jewelry.
like, maybe I need to insure my Jordans.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, Jay always keeps his boxes because he
mine.
treats his shoes so like
Mine are in a
children.
plastic casing.
Oh
Like
yeah,
my
he
wife
got.
bought me plastic casings for all my Jordans, so they're
Oh,
like,
Jay got one of those things from not bad from the Container Store where you put your shoes in it. So
mm-hmm.
like like our show Jesus and Mero.
Oh my gosh. Just
Mero
like that, actually. Just
Mero
like
had
Nero's
the
wall,
whole
yeah. No,
wall.
Desus
Was it
wall.
Jesus? Okay.
Yeah,
He had the
Desus
whole wall.
whole wall full of shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah, he'd always
Jesus.
change them,
Yeah.
right? The color pattern behind
Did
them.
he?
You never noticed
I
that, yeah. So he
never
changed the color
noticed
pattern
that.
behind on the shoes behind him to match his outfit that he had on. And I'm like, either he's doing that or his interns are doing that.
Some
and either
interns
way,
doing that.
that is like what the
I
fuck.
miss them. That
man.
makes me so sad.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying Charlemagne's show on Thursday
I've been meaning to
nights.
catch it, man. I've been meaning to
Comes
catch
on
it.
after
I've been seeing the
Trevor Noah.
highlights.
It's good, and I'm not really a Charlemagne the God fan, but I'm enjoying the show and the guests. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So I don't know if you heard about this, but an eminent NYU chemist was fired after students complained about his organic chemistry class.
Shout out to Dr. Branch at St. Augustine University, who failed so many people in my tenure.
Was that chemistry?
At St. Aug. Yes, he was our biology and chemistry professor, and he was by far the hardest professor on campus, and everyone knew it. He consistently handed out D's and C's, and we were happy to get those D's and
Take
C's.
this L.
Take the L.
But it was
if you can come out there with a D,
right,
it was like
woo.
you. Good job. You did your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like these kids these days, this goes back to what you were saying earlier. They soft, man. Like,
D's and C's get degrees.
Bruh, D's and C's get degrees. We were happy to take that D and C. It was like a life. It was like, look, you can't win at everything in life, bro.
Right, you can't.
Dr. Branch, you ain't winning against him.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you. All right, so the chemist's name is Maitland Jones. He was NYU University, NYU professor. So basically, the university terminated his contract just before the autumn term after 82 of his 350 students signed a petition complaining that his organic chemistry class was too difficult and that they didn't like the way he ran the course.
Wow.
Okay. So
the level of entitlement that goes into making that. I mean, you had to think about that. Like their kids sat down there like, listen, this is too hard. And I don't like he doesn't make it easier for us.
Right.
Let's go get him fired.
Right.
Like what the not I'm gonna work harder.
You wouldn't even think that would be a thing, right? A tenured professor.
No,
like what? Yeah.
We're not gonna work harder. We're not gonna try to.
Right. We're not gonna figure. We're not gonna crack the case here.
Let's get rid of him.
Right.
That's wild.
So Jones, who was just shy of his 85th birthday, and he wrote a leading organic chemistry textbook. He literally wrote the book. Okay?
He wrote the book.
Wrote the book. Okay. Elvis Costello. Every day he wrote the book. It's in its 5th edition.
God.
Yeah, he said
he's that dude when it comes to chemistry.
That dude. Like
dude.
If organic chemistry was a person,
it would be
a picture of a picture of him.
5th edition.
God. The petition was submitted in the spring, but he was not copied on it and didn't see it until the New York Times reporter sent it to him last month. And this was this was last month, like September.
That's so crazy.
Chemistry professors who disagreed with the university's decision wrote to the deans to express their concern that could harm academic freedom and the quality of instruction at the institution. But they didn't care. Absolutely crazy. So so Paul Bracker, and what was your person's name?
Dr. Branch.
Okay, so Paul Bracker explained that it seems like either NYU either fired him or didn't renew his contract as a result. So this Bracker guy, he graduated from NYU with an undergraduate degree in chemistry in the 90s before Jones was there, and was still at Princeton. So his coursework included the first edition of Jones's textbook, Organic Chemistry. So he's like, I know NYU knew who he was. Like, he was that man. They knew who he was.
He'd been this dude before he came here.
And then Dr. Jones had a website back in the day when courses weren't online. So he was ahead of his time. So he had like the first chemistry blog. But I did hear, or from allegedly, I guess it's allegedly, dude would broadcast the lowest grade in the class. Shame. He's like Game of Thrones. And he would say the lowest grade and talk about that person, but I don't know if he shared their name.
Yeah, our Dr. Branch would kind of do the same thing. He would just be like, the class average was such and such, and we had one outlier who made this grade or whatever, which would the class average would be like 37, and like the outlier would made like a 62. Like, it would be something wild. And he was like, y'all need to do better. Like, I don't know what else am I supposed to do? I'm teaching you everything you need. Yeah. And then you hand it out and go back to teaching. We just be like, fuck, like, can we just? I just need a D. Like,
I just need a D. I just need a D.
That's what my wife said last night. I just need.
Stop it. You're getting $1 for that one. Okay, so now so this week we didn't have a real topic, so we just figured we'd ask, let our fans ask some questions. So I wrote down a few of those questions. First one is how often should I follow up with a recruiter after an interview?
Follow up in what way? You should send a thank you email immediately after I feel, and then maybe give about 3 days, 3 to 4 days. So if you interviewed on Monday, email them on a Thursday if you haven't heard anything about it.
What do you tell people? Is that what you tell them?
I tell 72 hours. I'll be like, I'll be in touch with you within 72 hours.
But will you have had your debrief by that time? Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of times the systems that I'm working in, you can tag the hiring manager in your notes on the candidate, and the hiring manager can go right in there and let you know. So it's like messaging, right? And
that's cool.
Yeah. So, I actually know probably within 24 hours.
If that's the person.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I tell them 72 so I can have a buffer in case the hiring manager is busy, or, I get caught up in something that they don't expect something the next day.
Okay.
Because, but you cannot expect a recruiter to follow up with you immediately because you are one of many.
That's what I tell candidates. I was like, "There's one of me. There's a whole bunch of you guys."
Yeah, I don't remember you per se, so follow up with me, like, because I talk to. I
remember
all the time,
but
you have a great memory for candidates. Like you do remember your candidates.
But debriefs are just, I have to. It's like wrangling cats, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's tough. And sometimes even after a debrief, you're not sure about them. They're not out. They're not necessarily in. So sometimes I can keep people on the hook for a while. So I do tell them to follow with me, I tell them they're not bothering me. I tell them email is the quickest way to get a response. So versus a telephone call. If I got to call you back, that might be tough since I'm on a call all day. But that was another question. Should I send thank you notes after interviews? I think people think it's a dying thing because, back in the day when you interviewed in person, you took your thank you cards and you wrote them in the lobby and you left them. But now you should send thank you notes, because I'll have during the debrief, I'll say, somebody will say, and they sent me a nice note. Or they'll say, and they didn't.
Nobody else is doing it right now.
Or they'll say they didn't. I can't believe they didn't send a thank you note.
Yep.
So
and a lot of your leaders in corporations are not Gen Z.
They're not
millennials.
So right.
They're from the boomer generation, and they expect a follow up in some way. Like that thank you note or whatever. Now, while they've come to accept that a lot of people don't do it, that is still an expectation, and they are very impressed when someone does. So definitely send. Even if you don't have a person's email address, you can email a thank you letter to the recruiter.
Exactly.
Have the recruiter forward it to the
exactly, because people ask me, and if they didn't get the email address, I tell them to send the emails to me, and I will forward them on. And I always
definitely.
Okay, let's see. Here's a good one. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. How do I get a mentor at my company?
Ask. It's really that simple, people. Literally just ask. When I tell you that leaders want to mentor persons, they are very impressed, and they are very humbled when someone comes to them like, hey, I want to be like you, teach me how. And that
Teach
means a
me
lot
your
to a
way,
leader.
Sensei.
Teach me your way, sensei. Wax on, wax off. Like they are they're good. They really do have a good, bubbly feelings inside them when you do that. Now make sure you get a good mentor. You got to peep the mentor. Like if it's hard for you to track them down, if you and your mentor set up time and say like we're going to talk for 15 minutes every 2 weeks or something like that, and you see your mentor has missed like the first month of meetings, then maybe you need to find another mentor because maybe they're not ready or they don't understand.
Or they're just not into
you. Right. Yeah, because maybe they just don't know how to be a mentor.
Right.
Or whatever.
Okay.
I've been I asked a CEO to be my mentor, and this is a CEO of a large pharmaceutical organization, and he literally made time on his calendar every 2 weeks for 15 minutes for me. So if a CEO can do that, anybody can do that. Yeah, like anybody can do that. And he would take the call whether he was in his car, whether he was in his office, whatever it was. I got my 15 minutes with him every 2 weeks to talk about his journey or whatever, right? So just ask. You find somebody, look up their career path on LinkedIn, see what they do. If you like it, ask them to teach you their ways.
Right. Here's one. Does anyone review my application?
That is such an interesting question. When is the question? Like, yes.
I will say that yes, but is every application reviewed? No. Because it's a cinch by the inch, it's hard by the yard. If I post a position and I get 100 people, am I going to look at 100 at one time? No. I'm going to look through about maybe 10 or 15. If I can get 4 from there, I'll start there. If that doesn't pan out, I go to the next, then the next, and the next. Have I had positions where I looked at everybody? Yes, because it was a hard, where yes, everybody in there and a mama.
Everybody. Twice and go back even after you disqualified. You go back. Well, maybe I missed something on that resume. Let me go back and look at it again.
I've had some analytics roles where I was like, I'm just gonna mark them review because I may need to go back and look at them again.
I may have to look at that one again because this is.
I don't want to say no. That's so harsh.
But I'm trying to tell you, it's roles like that where you review everything, man. But there's other roles, like you said, you get a lot of applicants, and it's like, okay,
a lot of good applicants, and it's like, okay,
you know what I do to try to be fair? I'll do what you do. I'll look at the first 4, the most recent applicants, and I'll go back to the very first applicants, and I look at those first 4, and I kind of like pivot back and forth like that. That way, the people who applied when the job first got posted don't get caught up in the mix of the people who applied like this morning or whatever. But yeah, someone is looking at the application.
Okay, breaking news. Ariel is going to someone else's homecoming next week. So she sent me a request yesterday so she could get her dress. And she just sent me another request. I don't know what this is for. I mean,
probably shoes. I mean, you need shoes.
Well, she can wear the same shoes she wore to the last.
I mean, that don't mean she want to though, because what will people think if she wore the same shoes?
She's not going. Only 2 of her friends will.
Hey, that's too people to know. How can she take pictures? Because you're gonna have one of the same shoes in the pictures that she had on before.
But I will. Let me say this. So let me give her some props because I told her the rule is you can show legs. Or you can show arms.
I love that rule, by the way.
But you can't show legs and arms. And if you want some cutouts, you got to cover your legs and your arms. Okay?
Listen, that makes so much sense. Like after you told me that, I looked at. I'm like, yo, because it makes a difference.
Yep,
it makes a difference. Somebody has legs and arms out. You're like, oh, it's a different look than when you just have one or the other.
Now, I saw a lot of girls with those dresses on, and I'm not judging you. I'm just saying. I have a rule from my daughter.
Pure household.
And she didn't even show me her dress in advance. I saw her dress when I told her this for her homecoming. And then she got dressed at her friend's house. So she sent me a picture. I was like, I was like, verklempt. Because her dress, her arms were out. It was a spaghetti dress, spaghetti strap. But it was long. She was the only one I saw. And all of her pictures with a long dress on. So she's wanted this.
What if you had seen the picture and it looked like one of her friend's dresses that I saw?
Oh, she would have been done. I mean,
would you have gone to the homecoming and picked her up? You'd like,
no. I would just took the dress and be like, "What did I tell you?" But that would have been on me, though, right? Because I should have asked to see it. I didn't. She was
trusting the kids.
I did ask to see it. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I didn't know the day of homecoming when she said she wanted to get dressed at Elizabeth's house. I thought she was trying to throw me in a trick bag because the dress was little.
Yeah, you
So I
peep game.
asked her to
Yeah.
show me the dress. She showed it to me before she left. I was like, oh, so I saw that it was long. So I didn't see that
That's
it was
what's
long
up.
in the pictures. I saw that it was
Shout
long
out to her for being honest.
before she went. Because I thought, oh, she thinks I'm dumb. Like I wrote that book. Show me
Yeah.
that dress.
Shout
So
out to her for being
this one's
honest.
long too, but it's really pretty green and it's either strapless or I mean it's either strap, but it's long again. So or maybe a spaghetti strap again. So anyway, so yeah. All right. So here's one that we've all faced. What do I do about a problematic colleague?
Man, you meet him in the parking lot and fuck him up.
Oscar.
Like, that's or you do your best to avoid them, right? Because sometimes you're not gonna get along with everybody. And work is not a place where you go to meet besties. Sometimes you may stumble across someone that you click with and you guys great. But sometimes you're gonna be people you don't like. And if your colleague is problematic and it's not impacting your work or your performance, just ignore them. You don't got to go stand next to them. You got to sit next to them in conference room. You don't have to hang out with them.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
now
got
with
like
this, yeah, and like how does somebody that takes us back to the bullying, the online thing. How does somebody harass you when you don't see them, when you're not with them physically?
exactly.
But
Like
people can still get on your nerves, though. Isn't that
I
something?
mean,
How do
people
we
do.
let people permeate our beings like that? Like somebody that you don't have to be close to, you want them to die.
I think that's next level of adult maturity where you have so much control over your emotions, where you don't let outside people who are not impactful on your daily life no longer impact your emotional state. Like,
Okay.
oh, okay, cool. All right, that's how you
That
feel.
it's
That's all right.
yeah, it could be tough though when people, especially if that person's undermining you.
Mm-hmm. But I
I,
mean, at that point in time, they're impacting your daily life. Like if they're like at your office, saying slash shit or taking credit for your work, or now at that point in time, they're impacting you. Like, then y'all got to
right,
have words.
right.
Then you got to have a come to Jesus meeting with them, and talk to them and make sure they understand that you're not here for the shits. And then after that, you got to turn into a Karen. I think, as Black folks, we got to pull that trigger sometimes and start CCing everybody on the emails to the person. As previously stated,
Right.
please refrain from eating my food out the fridge or
So
whatever the case may be, and CC everybody. Because they're going to do it eventually, right? They're going to try to make you look bad. So sometimes you got to beat them to the trigger.
Yeah. Okay, last one. How do I know when it's time to find a new job?
Man. I think when you start thinking about finding a new job.
When you start thinking about it, it's time.
Yeah, like when you're like, nah, this ain't working. This don't sit well with my spirit anymore. It's like, all right, you gotta start going. Because why stay? Because what we've seen a lot in this industry is like you'll get that feeling where you want a new job, you start looking, and then you let them know they'll counter whatever offer you got. If you're good, if they want you, they'll counter your offer. You'll stay, but then you'll still hate it. Like you'll still be like, oh, wait. I remember why I wanted to leave. And these couple extra $100.
Yeah, because that feeling, whatever the reason was, that never goes away.
Unless it
was really just money. You're like, I'm really happy, but I've asked, but I think when they counter and you stay, people always end up leaving.
Because it leaves you with this little strain of thing inside. You're like,
why couldn't you just do it? Yeah. Why couldn't you just do it?
Why we had to go through all this in the first, like why we went through all this to get to this point or whatever, right? So even if you get some more money, you're gonna end up leaving anyway. So once you get that feeling where you're serious, like we all have hard days, we all have bad days where it's like, damn, like today was a tough one,
right?
Like it's been a long day, but when you get that feeling, like I dread
every
logging
day
onto my computer. Like it
like
doesn't
that
matter.
Sunday, what do they call it on Sunday night when you were like the Sunday night blues when you're like
the anxiety of going to work the next day, right?
Man.
Like
even when you're just getting up and going to your living room or dining room or your office.
Yeah, because you still got to log in and it feels like you're right there. It feels like you deal with it. When that feeling is overwhelming and it's like I can't take this, then start looking. But don't just look for the sake of looking. Like actually look to find an environment where you can thrive in. Do your research, research the company, go on Glassdoor, see what the culture reviews are like. Look at the leader that you'll be reporting to, see what they're like. Really look so that when you move into your next one, like you make your best move, you make your next move your best move, right? You move into
And
some
nobody
system,
will
whatever.
appreciate you like your next employer.
Yep, that's facts. At least for the first 6 months,
Yeah.
you know.
But I have this thing. Alexa's talking, but I want her to stop. Okay, she just stopped. Okay. I have this thing just like I had with dating. Alexa, stop. Sorry. Is not to date strangers. Like make sure that person had references.
Mm,
Um,
okay. Well, who's
they came
Jason
with
references?
Dana Smith Jr., the
Okay,
person who
yeah.
introduced us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He said that Jason listened to jazz and sat around and smoked cigars with an ascot and a smoking robot.
That's
I
funny.
think very deeply because
Yeah.
he does think very deeply. He didn't wear an ascot and a smoking jacket, but he did sit around listening to jazz. He still does. Whenever I change the music on the Bose system thingy, he's like, "Who changed my music?" When it's not
Jazzy.
the jazz station from Sirius XM. Whatever it's called. Um, so
Mhm.
the dating thing goes back to when I was younger. I met this guy at my office. He was traveling with like some Saudi prince whose bag got lost. This is when I worked for US Airways, and he came over and he was a good looking guy, and we talked, we chatted a bit, we exchanged numbers, and I was always saying how somebody was taking my pens in the office. So he sent me a pen. I think it was a cross pen with my name engraved on it.
That's play.
And
Oh, that's nice.
I was like,
That
oh,
is
that's so
nice.
nice.
Listen,
Right.
that's some play shit. I like
I
that.
was
Oh
like,
man, you need some
okay.
pens.
And then
I got
he lived in Kentucky, Bowling Green. He lived in Bowling Green. And so he would come and visit, and just the nice guy. Just I mean, if whatever, the nice guy. Turns out he was married.
Mm, mm. Listen, man, the
Yeah,
heart.
his
You
wife
can
called
love
me.
multiple kids. You can love
Yeah.
multiple women. You know,
Yeah.
like
Well,
he
I wasn't his only girlfriend either.
you know, exactly. The man's
Yeah,
like, look,
I
I can
wasn't.
afford a lifestyle for all y'all. Like, just
Right.
can we stop all this and let's go all
Yeah.
get along?
And
No,
then he
that pen
lied,
movie.
said he wasn't married. So
Oh,
yeah.
see, yeah, he should have told you the truth
Yeah.
and let you decide what you want to do. Like, men, don't lie. Like,
You
be
know.
honest. If you got a situation,
Right.
let the woman decide what she wants to do.
Right.
Like, you don't got to lie to her about it or whatever,
Yeah.
man. In
Anyways.
high school, I did the same thing. Had this girl I had a crush on, Courtney Harrison. Shout out to Courtney.
Courtney Harrison.
And she really liked pens, and so for her birthday, I went and bought like this was, I was a child in high school. Probably spent like $200 on pens. Like I bought like the nicest pens, like you could just
Was it Mont
beautiful
Blanc?
pens. Bruh. No, it was a bunch. It probably was about 20 pens, right? So I bought all these pens, had like this teddy bear in this bag, and how all the teddy bear holding the pens all over it. Oh my gosh. Like that was shout out. That got me an introduction to her mom or whatever. And she was really taken. And then we ended up going to prom together. She was voted most attractive in senior class, which is fucked up because I was still dating my wife at the time when I took her. Which is like wow shit. That's who I was, right? Like so I was still dating
you were still
my
dating
wife.
Your wife, and you were
Yeah, but she was 2 years younger than me.
And took Courtney to the prom.
Courtney was the most attractive girl in senior class, and I'm like, well, this is gonna be the yearbooks. So I'm gonna slide off the prom with Courtney. You know what I'm saying? Do this there or whatever. Because I know your mom probably ain't gonna let you go anyway. So we're not even gonna go down that route. So I ain't gonna ask you. Yeah, that was the whole thing or whatever. But yeah.
I am sighing on that. That's the sigh of disapproval. That sounds so familiar.
Yo, my younger days, I was a wild dude. I was a wild dude.
You sound like a jerk.
I wasn't a jerk, but I was,
Oh,
I had jerk tendencies. I definitely had
yeah. So those were good questions. I mean, some of those questions I was like, interesting. So let me just say this in conclusion. Back to the Mars thing. I started buying. Did I tell you I started buying Halloween candy like a month ago because I was afraid of the shortage?
Yeah, Jason.
But I also started opening. Like he opened the first one, then I opened the next 2 bags. I found a bag behind a box. I had to end up taking my candy to my neighbors, but there was one box. Like 3 weeks ago, I was like, Jen, take my candy because we're gonna eat it all. Other than the Three Musketeers, sorry, somebody likes those.
Nobody who eats
somebody does. They still make them. Somebody.
Three Musketeers and Arby's. Who's fucking with these people?
Or is it a filler food? Is Three Musketeers like in the bag? Is that just a filler?
I mean, that's a lot of money you spend on filler food. Because goddamn.
Yeah,
I don't know
because
nobody that likes Three Musketeers.
I don't
I've
know
yet to
anybody
meet the per-
either.
Yeah, that's weird.
I have not met that person either. So, but the other day I was like, I really want a piece of chocolate, and I went where I hid the box. There was a box that got delivered, and I hid it, but I realized there was a bag of candy back there too. So I opened it, and this one has Three Musketeers, Snickers,
Mm.
Milky Ways, and Twix.
I don't know why
Okay,
Halloween Snickers taste so good, boy. Halloween Snickers
everything,
taste different.
everything other than Three Musketeers. Miniature is delicious. Miniature
Yo,
Twix
it just be
are
hitting.
delicious.
Well, it's like, why don't they make it all taste like this?
Right.
This is
Why couldn't it
fantastic.
all taste as good?
Mm.
So I opened the bag, okay, and then I tied it back up, and then I put it back under, hid it back under, whatever. And then my paper, my wrappers, I hid my wrappers. Like I didn't, I put them in the trash, but I put them like under stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this went on for several days. So today I was thinking, oh, this is our Friday edition. Usually we have a Thirsty Thursday. I mean, not Thursday, like a happy hour thing. Today's edition is going to be brought to us by the letter M for Mars, since we're talking about M&Ms. I went down to get the bag, and it was like some Kaiser Sose shit. It was out. Like I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, it's like I don't gotta say nothing to you, but here's your little bag right here.
It was
Here's your bag. I know you've been
speaker,
stashing.
okay?
You've been stashing on us. Okay.
It was hidden behind a speaker, like what is that? Brand Nubians.
That's funny.
I wonder how I got a pair of my sneakers. I know I found them because I hid them behind the speaker. So somebody, and my money's on Jackson.
You think Jackson?
Because
Jackson seems like he would tell you. I think Jackson feels like he would just be like, he like walk past you eating some candy.
Oh no, he would.
Yeah,
well,
like
no. He would not do that. He would be sneaky about it.
Okay.
I got he and Errol both orange chicken because I ordered myself Chinese yesterday. Yeah. He ate his and then he ate hers.
Oh yeah, my oldest one is like
he ate hers like out like boop, 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 boop. So it could have been my husband too, but they left it out like here they ripped the bag. They ripped the bag open because I was tying, I would tie it and untie it. They ripped it up and just left it there.
So which candies is missing? Like which one do you think like they
ate no, nobody wants Three Musketeers. So they were probably all fishing for Snickers and Twix. The Twix are, I'm sure they're dust. They're gone.
See, you gotta put more cameras in your house, right? Like, cause we got like 9 cameras throughout our house. You really can't do more. Yeah, you can't do shit in here.
Like, I don't want cameras in my house. I don't want to see what people are doing. I don't want to.
We got a camera. So like, whenever something goes missing, be like, look, we can go look at the footage, or you can tell us the truth. And
see, I enjoy finding out or doing or like an unsolved mystery. I enjoy coming to deductive reasoning and like it was you because like Clue. Like,
no,
it was you. Yeah.
I prefer just pulling up the phone and rewinding the camera.
Oh, see, that's too easy. That's
just
cheating.
Rewind the tape. It makes life so much. It's like, yeah, you're gonna lie, or I can just go look at the camera. And half the time, what they don't understand is me and my wife, we're not gonna go back and look at the footage.
Oh, you're not?
No, because goddamn, we gotta rewind for hours and hours and days just to find that specific thing. You're like, no, but they know we can, so they just fess up anyway.
See,
so we avoid the whole thing. They've never called our bluff on it. They never.
Oh, really? I come from the lie. Yeah, lie till you die.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of. Those are my kids.
Nah, see, our house. It is
lie till you die.
It is understood that a lie, a caught lie, is by far the worst thing you can do in here.
Yeah,
like, you tell us the truth, you good. But we find out that you lied to us. You lied to us. People who buy you all this shit. You lied to us. Oh, okay. Oh, it's on. It's on. And so in the West Indies, we have this pepper called Scotch bonnet. It's like a Scotch bonnet pepper. It's like super hot. And if you get caught in a lie, then you may have to have a spoonful of Scotch bonnet in your mouth.
What?
And just stand there for a second and feel what it, let that lie sit in your mouth with that Scotch bonnet sauce.
Yeah. How would that? Yeah, Scott, is that like one of the hottest peppers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the Skokel? Is that what they are? The Skokel numbers?
Oh, the score on it. Yeah. I don't even know. That was like the worst thing. Like, I hate.
Yeah, lying is bad, especially when someone says, "Tell me the truth." Like if they're like, "Look, you will be, no retribution. Just tell me the truth." My oldest son would still lie.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
because I always fear that you hear all these stories later on in life about people who are scared to tell their parents something, and you find out something mad traumatic that they had going on, or whatever. So we always try to gauge it so our kids understand that truth is easy, and we can fix whatever goes on. Like
Yeah, I tell my
we
kids
have
that too.
we have a point where we do not yell, we do not fuss. You tell us the truth, it's going
Right.
to be a calm conversation. We're going
Right.
to figure it out. But
Right.
you lie, oh shit, no,
Right.
hell's breaking loose when you lie.
Yeah.
No. So Scotch Bonnet rating is 100,000 to 350,000 Scoville units, 40
my
times hotter than a
gosh.
jalapeno pepper.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? How about? Is it hotter than a ghost pepper?
Oh, get this little chart here.
Era was already starting her campaign to be able to go to dinner tonight with friends.
No, ghost pepper is 855,000 to 1 million heat units. So yeah, ghost pepper is almost twice. Shit. Yeah, almost 3 times as hotter than a Scotch bonnet.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, they're still hot.
Very hot.
Okay. Well, it's been a great week.
It's been fun.
It's been a great day. We're going to claim that it is. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yes.
And
next week we're going to do our show on location.
You're going to be. Oh, are you going to do it?
Yeah, we should. We have to. Like we got to.
You're going to be mad. You're going to.
We got to.
Okay, you'll be on location. I will be in Decatur. Shane will be in some beautiful port of call. Oh, that'll be dope.
That's gonna be dope.
We're
definitely doing it on location.
That'll be dope. All right, oh, and then we can have a special guest.
Facts. We may be able to do a special guest.
Yeah.
Hey, see if you can get Jason to come on. We're gonna have to do a couple.
Husband does not watch. That's why I could say anything about him. He does not. He doesn't watch. I probably have to strap him to a chair and tape his eyes open.
Yeah, this is what we're gonna do.
Anyway, all right. So we can be found on Anchor, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts,
the Twitter. Find us on
Twitter, Instagram,
IG, TikTok, Trickety Talking,
Facebook. Yeah.
And shout out to all our new followers on TikToks and IGs. Slowly but surely our numbers are coming up. We appreciate you guys. It's like a water drip on a rock. Eventually, the rock's gonna crack.
Exactly. But you know what? You know what is funny, Shane, is that people will not leave any comments.
No.
They won't but will tell me stuff about the podcast. Like Ashley,
I watch it.
My cousin Ashley was like, "Do you and Shane work together?" I was like, "Oh, so thinking in my head, so you watch, but you never hit a like.
You don't follow us? Do you follow us?
You don't follow us.
Why you don't follow us, Ashley?
Why you keep your anonymity?
Why you playing, Ashley?
Right.
Why you playing games?
Why ain't share my shit?
You asking me questions, but you don't want to hit the like button? You don't want to share it?
So
be on people that don't want to share your stuff.
My aunt too.
Like, why you
she
sharing?
Said about you. I was
What'd she say?
I can't remember what it was, but it was just, she mentioned you, and I was like, I don't understand why people aren't sharing. No. Anyway. Yeah, it's funny. Funny. Well, I know that Eric Lee listens, my former colleague, Eric Lee. Yes, he does. He I'm doing TikTok. I have the WTF series.
Sure do.
And he said, "So you like orange M&Ms?" So I was like, they all taste the same. But anyway.
Do they? Now you got me thinking. They don't taste this. I feel like Skittles? The brown M&Ms taste more chocolatey than the other M&Ms.
That's like Skittles. Doesn't every Skittle taste the same?
No. God, no. Are you serious?
Don't?
They are literally different flavors.
Oh, no. Skittles are different flavors. Yeah. But Fruit Loops all taste. That's what it is.
Yeah, Fruit Loops definitely all taste the same. But M&Ms do not taste the same. I swear for goodness. The brown M&Ms taste
Are the blue ones different. Blueberry?
No, they're not blueberry, but they're not the same as the brown ones. The brown M&Ms taste like extra chocolates, like double fudge chocolate. And like the other ones are like kind of chocolatey.
Okay. Maybe that's psychological. So
I think it's probably psychological.
Yeah. I'm going to have to, you know what? None of these packs come with none of the candy I bought comes with M&Ms. Or maybe I purposely didn't buy anything that came with M&Ms because I thought people would eat them. But
now,
apparently
are you plain peanut butter or peanut M&Ms?
Peanut butter?
Yeah,
that's a Reese's Pieces, isn't it?
No, they actually make a peanut butter M&M.
That's gross.
It is like a little Reese's bomb in your mouth.
I hate Reese's Pieces, so no.
Reese's
I
Pieces is
am
top tier
plain.
candy. We
I'm a
talked about
plain
this before.
and peanut. I know. I'm a plain. I'm a plain and I'm a peanut.
Oh shit, Trisha, have we been doing this a year?
No,
Because I
not until
remember one of our
April.
first conversations were about
Was
Halloween
candy?
candy.
Yeah, it was, but it hasn't been a year. It was April. We
Was it
started in
April?
April. Uh-huh.
Okay, we were talking about Easter candy.
Easter candy. Yeah.
Easter candy.
Um, I like frozen I like frozen and peanut in the freezer. Duh. My husband he does that. He puts his little miniature all year round. He buys ever so often the miniature Reese's. And he puts those in the freezer, and they're super tasty. And he puts his M&Ms in the freezer, his peanut ones. So I like frozen
I've
peanut.
never tried the peanut.
They're
in the freezer.
so good.
Man,
Not when I have them when they're not cold. I'm like,
Yeah.
yuck. They have to be cold. But regular plain M&Ms, I can eat any. Just and I like those with popcorn. Like when I was younger, when I went to the movies, I'd pour the M&Ms in my popcorn so you get some salty, you get some sweet.
What you should do. What shout out to Roderick Mercado, my Filipino brother from another mother, who taught us melt peanut butter. Take some Jif, melt your Jif down, like cook your Jif down, and then pour the Jif on top of your popcorn. My God, it is
really
amazing. When I tell you, fresh peanut butter popcorn, maybe one of those things that we do not eat enough of. It is amazing.
Okay.
It is amazing. It is.
I'll have to try that.
Top
Peanut
tier.
butter. No, I guess that needs to be freshly popped. I was so.
Oh yeah, no, you can't be still. It has to be
not
freshly
microwave.
popcorn.
Not
no, not at all.
Popcorn.
You make sure you you actually melt down your peanut butter first, and then you pop your popcorn. So as soon as the popcorn's finished, you take your hot peanut butter, pour it on top of the popcorn, and then it keeps everything warm for the whole time. So it is messy, but it is amazing.
A neighbor of mine used to make his homemade caramel corn.
Oh.
And he said it was like he would get high and then make caramel corn.
Like caramel corn, the candy?
Melt caramels. Make caramels and then or melt them and pour it over popcorn with peanuts.
Oh, okay. When you said caramel corn, I thought you were talking about those little orange and yellow Halloween candy.
Oh, those were not those horrible things with the coconut.
I don't know what the fuck those are. This is disgusting.
So funny. No. Caramel corn like
caramel,
like Cracker Jack.
Yeah.
But like an upgraded.
Oh, Crunch and Munch. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he would make. Actually, he made his caramel from scratch.
What?
He didn't
made his own caramel.
He made his own caramel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made his own
if
caramel.
I learned how to make my own caramel,
sugar, water. I mean, it's not a lot. I mean,
I'm gonna look that up. I think that's how I'm gonna impress my wife for her birthday. I'm gonna make her some. She loves caramel. I'm gonna do some homemade caramel. I'm gonna be like, look at this.
Yep, he would make it homemade. So anyway, all right, you're leaving Wednesday, so okay, all right. Well, so next week, what will we talk about then? Well, I guess we'll have to think about it.
Yeah, we can do a hierarchy. We haven't done the org chart. We can pick a show, do an org chart for her.
Okay, we'll think about it.
We'll think about it.
All right. Well, have a great weekend, Shane.
You have a wonderful weekend as well.
All right. Bye. Bye, everybody.